I appreciate that you've been here and that you've heard some of the concerns that our residents have. And if you've got something to say, that we can.
Thanks, Jay, and Jay, I commend you for all the work you've done here in the community. And yeah, this is going to be a long road to full recovery. We know that, and by working together, we will do it. Angela, thank you for your comments from the back. There are still a lot of questions. There are still a lot that are unanswered, and we're going to do the best we can. But the best we can do is make sure we're speaking with a united voice, so that we don't have things coming in piecemeal. If you've got specific ideas, there are routes to go through. When it comes to wildfires, the regional district has the role initially, then they can ask the province for assistance, and then the province can ask the federal government for assistance. So it really is, I'm not trying to pass the buck, but that's how the process works. And hopefully we can feed it all the way up through so that we can get the support and the resources that are needed to build back better and stronger than we were originally. So thank you. But that's all right now. Thank you, Jay.
Well, I certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. Hats off to you, Jay. You stayed with your friends, your neighbors, your family. I think you did what hopefully any elected member would do, is to be there to support those that put you in office. So I know it was not easy. You're still under a lot of criticism, I think, from some of your colleagues. But I'm really proud of what you've done, and proud of this community. And the Shuswap always punches far above its weight. You know, you guys have been under an extreme amount of stress and anxiety the last 4 weeks now. And the fact that you guys are still coming together, working together as a community, you know, I can appreciate that emotions are running incredibly high. You guys have all been respectful, and we're only going to get through this together. You know, when Jay invited me to attend, you know, I was honored to come and be here today. But I said, Jay, this is your community, this is your show. We're here to support you. Mel and I are both listening. We've taken a lot of notes. Many of the concerns have been raised. We're already aware of. I've had conversations with senior deputy ministers, with the Ministry of Forests. I've also had the opportunity with Jay on Monday to speak to our Premier and let him know how unhappy and dissatisfied we are with the level of support that was provided to BC Wildfire. It's hard not to be incredibly frustrated. You know, and it is quite often times the bureaucracy. I was a member of government from 13 to 17, and even then, it was hard being even a member of the sitting government to find solutions for many of you that had varying issues. Even that much more challenging in opposition. But what I can commit to you is that I'm concerned, and we will be asking those tough questions and doing what we can to try and find answers for you. When we spoke to the Premier on Monday, I said, you know, what is going to happen? We cannot allow, and we will not allow what happened to Lytton to happen here. 2 years post-fire, not a single family home is under construction in Lytton. 2 years post-fire. That is not going to happen here. You know, things that are under the provincial responsibility, interior health, you know, their decisions around septic tanks. What are the perk tests? A septic tank that might have been put in the ground 50 years ago, is that going to be allowed to go back in today? What is going to happen around ARC assessments? What's going to happen around the riparian area assessments, the geotech reports? These are all answers that we need to find out. And so the one thing we pressed upon the Premier is that we need to ensure that residents of the Shuswap have consistent and concise answers and are not sitting here 6, 8, 12 months from now still waiting for answers for the things that you're going to need to know before you can make those decisions around rebuilding. There's lots of questions to be had with BC Wildfire Service. This is not new. White Rock Lake Fire, 2021. The Buff family from Westwold, they had equipment on that fire. Within 4 or 5 hours, they were told to stand down and monitor it for 48 hours, and look what happened. As official opposition, we put in a series of freedom of information requests looking for information. We got back, no records found, no records found, no records found. So we're continuing to ask those questions. There need to be changes. BC Wildfire Service, their services were stretched incredibly thin. I have no quarrel whatsoever with some of those individuals that are working with the boots on the ground. But administratively, we've got challenges. We saw it in 2021 where the government was very late to announce a state of emergency. Same thing this year. When we heard Minister Farnworth, who was at the time the Solicitor General with responsibility for emergency management, he would go on the news. We don't need a state of emergency. We're utilizing all available resources within the province. Well, that was a half-truth. What he was commenting on is that all the services and resources available within the BC Wildfire Service might have been deployed. But this province and local communities, the Bischoffs, the Spooners, many individuals did a ton of work to help protect their community. And those assets were not deployed. Government has not done their job to make sure that local contractors are paid in a timely time. If you got to pay your employees every 2 weeks and you're going to work for BC Wildfire Service and they're going to stall you out for 4 or 5 months for payment, who's going to work for BC Wildfire Service? They've created the environment where we do not see local contractors signing up. I had a local contractor in Salmon Arm here about 2 months ago get a hold of me and said, I've got 2 water trucks, I've got 2 trained drivers, I want to put them to work with BC Wildfire Service. I've been kind of, what's the issue? Well, some bureaucrat decided that it was going to be a good idea to require a tax verification form before you could get any equipment approved to work. Well, what does it matter whether you filed your taxes all up to date or not? It's an emergency. So again, it's not necessarily always the elected officials, and certainly not your elected representatives. Quite often it's the bureaucracy. So look, I'm here to support Jay and support you guys however we can. No government's perfect, but what I can give you a commitment to is we'll work damn hard to make sure we get you the answers that you guys deserve.